Hey guys, Shasta here. Now this video I'm going to be talking about a class of weapon I'm not really too fond of. It's in the American tree. It's right here, shotguns. Now, if you've watched quite a few of my videos, like the worst weapons and stuff like this, I always put the shotguns very, very low. In fact, when I did my worst weapons of Normandy video, I put the Winchester model 1912 as the second worst weapon in the game. I also made a recent bad weapons video on the Tosby and the Luftwaffe drilling. So I'm just going to explain why I dislike them. But first, I'm just going to talk about the weapons themselves, and because they're in every campaign. The only factions that actually don't have a shotgun option are Normandy Axis and Moscow Axis. Because Normandy has and Tunisia allies have the Winchester, Moscow allies and Berlin allies have the Tosby, and of course Berlin and Tunisia Axis have the Luftwaffe drilling. Now, as you guys know from my video, the Tosby and the drilling, they're double-barreled shotguns, supposed to do a lot of damage, but the double barrel shotguns, they're break action double barrels, whereas the Winchester is a pump action shotgun. Of course, it's the Model 12. It's a pump action. It's got six rounds capacity. So why are they bad? Well, first off, let's start with the nerfs. Now, they did get that small buff recently, but even since that buff, they're still pretty bad. Now, the main problem with them was they got a massive nerf a long while back. I haven't even got one of these. I think I've got one max level somewhere, but I don't care. But yeah, they received a nerf a while back, which nerfed their damage. They gave them a lot of recoil, which was a nightmare. And it was just a lot of stuff like that. They've received a buff, which is buff the recoil, buff the damage, and for the double barrels, buff the ammo capacity, but most of the time, these aren't, as useful as you'd expect. I mean, the drilling, even though the drilling is fake advertising here, it's literally supposed to be, it's a double barrel, but it says it's a triple barrel. But the problem with these is that they've even received a buff recently, and they're still pretty shit. Now, the main reason they're shit is they can only be used by assaulters, which... Now, normally this wouldn't be too bad. It's just that assaulters usually have some of the best weapons in the game. If you look at what the assaulters get. I mean, look at the Axis here. They get the MP40, the MP35, the Beretta, and if you're going to count it, the Irma EMP44. For the Allies, it's even worse because they get the PPSH, they get the PPS, they get the PPD, they get this PPD, and you can even count the PDM as well. You can count the PDM. The same goes with Moscow, and similarly in in both Tunisia and Normandy, they've got the Stens, they've got the Lancasters, they've got the Thompsons. Even the grease guns in Normandy are better than the Winchesters. So, and that's the thing with the shotguns, which is why they're so bad and so low tiered, is because they're stuck on the same parallel as Thompsons, as Lancasters, as MP35s, PPSHs. So you're basically saying, do you want to use a Thompson or a Winchester? Do you want to use a Tosby or a PPSH? Meanwhile, I think that's a major problem, in my opinion. Now, here's how I would fix this. First, either gives these a better buff, because they're still useless. They're still pretty bad. They still aren't that as good as, they're not even good to used as a joke weapon or even as a secondary, they're just bad. The second way I can see these being useful is maybe make it either A, their own separate class, or B, make it so they can be universally used by all soldiers. So make it so that any soldier can use it. Rifleman, bomber, you know. Because I accidentally bought the this slot here. I could personally, do this if I wanted to. But obviously I don't do that. Oh crap. Yeah. So basically I can do stuff like this, whereas with the which you can do with the old which you can do with assaulters, but the problem is you're missing out on either on the backpack or the ammo bag slot. And yeah, in my opinion, you have to do, something like this, having, an option to have it, which is kind of the reason why I use the, the grenade launchers aren't too bad for the allies, because you can use the, because if you use the Garand, you can use the carbine grenade launcher as a secondary. If you use the carbine, you can use the M2 carbine, you can use the M1 Garand as a secondary, which I think, that offers some versatility. But the problem is that most of the time with the shotguns, they're locked behind assaulters, and assaulters expect to get either a backpack, or a large ammo bag, or a large grenade pouch, over grabbing a secondary. So, yeah, that's my problem with them. There's a lot more problems with these, but those are the big problems I found with the shotguns. They're locked behind. They're basically stuck with assaulters. They should be a multi-class option, which is a huge problem in my opinion for shotguns, because shotguns, you're never going to use them really. Anyways, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave your thoughts in the comments on what you guys think about shotguns. Like, comment, subscribe if you've enjoyed. I think personally these could be useful if they are made multi-class. If you make it so that the shotguns are allowed to be used by every single class, this would be a great change for them, and it would make people use shotguns a lot more. Especially early game players who will mostly use shotguns in a play, alongside. They would, and it would also make, it also makes this a lot more usable, because people would now would probably finally go for the secondary weapon slot over the backpack slot, because they'll be like, okay, it's actually a, do I pick this or do I pick this? Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next video.